Hello, loved ones. Welcome to the Sip and Chat. I am Love Marlene 411, and let's get started with today's Sip and Chat.
I spent a lifetime hiding in the gray with a heavy heart and nothing left to say. Battling shadows, walking in the rhythm of the life I didn't choose. From the silent cries and the darkest nights to the moments I almost gave up the fight. I was lost in the echoes of a hollow sound, searching for a solid piece of ground. But I'm Love Marlene 411, and I'm standing tall. I'm living proof that you can survive it all. From the 411 to the depths of my soul, I'm taking back the pieces, making them whole. It's a journey of healing, a path to the light. We're breaking every curse and winning the fight. From my heart to yours, let the healing start. We're making peace with the past and broken parts. It's more than just a story, it's a brand new lens, seeing where the trauma stops and where the light begins. Breaking generational chains, link by link, learning how to feel, learning how to think, guarding my spirit, my mind and my peace, watching the anxiety and the tension release. I found a self-love that was always meant to be a gift from God, now living in me. No more worthlessness, no more shame. I'm calling out the joy and I'm calling it by name. I am conscious of the seeds we sow. Watch how the garden starts to grow. But I'm Love Marlene 411, and I'm standing tall. I'm living proof that you can survive it all. From the 411 to the depths of my soul, I'm taking back the pieces, making them whole. It's a journey of healing, a path to the light. We're breaking every curse and winning the fight. From my heart to yours, let the healing start. We're making peace with the past and broken parts. Spread the love, spread the light, live your best life, hold on tight. I'm Love Marlene for Marlene 411. The journey has just begun.
Hello, loved ones, and welcome to this week's episode of the Sip and Chat. I am Love Marlene 411, and welcome to this week's episode. A shout out to everybody who is in here. I really appreciate all you loved ones. I thought I was going to have to cancel this week's episode because of some technical delays and all of that stuff. But as I wait for my co host, I wanted to greet all of you loved ones and to ask you, how are you doing? How is life? Do you have some problems or some situations going on within yourself or within your family or with your friends or as far as with your heart? Romantically, you got some issues going on and things like that. Sometimes as an adult, life is lifing and you just go through so many things that can be so much of a challenge. It can be so difficult. And I don't know if you guys went through this like I went through this when I was younger. It was always like you had to keep everything inside. You always had to, I wouldn't say pretend, but I think as an adult we did pretend a lot. I know I did. There was like you had to pretend that everything was okay. If you were angry, you were mad, you were sad, you were hurt. And as we got older, there has never been a thing about allowing yourself that space, that it is okay to feel what you feel, but with the right people, because not everybody will be supportive of you, of your goals, of your dreams. And there are a lot of people who just don't respect you, period. And usually the main offenders are our own relatives. But I wanted to have this conversation for all those who were like me, are like me, that have been through so many things in your life. Hi, Avery. Hi, I don't even know how to say your name. SCHU. Hi, Rowana. How are you doing? Welcome in, everybody. If you all have ever been through situations in your life where you've been holding in pain, sadness, trauma, especially when it comes to forms of abuse, if you've been abused in any way. And it wasn't until I became an adult that I realized that it was not just the physical abuse, it was the mental, it was the emotional, it was the abandonment, it was the gaslighting, the manipulation. And when you put it all together, it's a recipe for you becoming a ticking time bomb. You feeling like at any minute you can literally lose it. And especially in today's society, they don't give enough um, time off for relaxation, for resetting, for having just a mental health day. Like you're just not okay that day, but you're supposed to go on with working or school or showing up for everybody. And I wanted to have a conversation about this right here, feeling like that you don't have to be perfect, that you don't have to hold all your pain inside. I see my co host has arrived. Hello, Miss Nexie. How are you doing?
Hello, Miss Marlene. Hello, chatters. How's everybody doing today?
Yes, we're doing great. I just started off and we were talking a little bit about, not holding everything inside. But before all of that, I want to greet Miss Nexie, my wonderful co-host, and ask her how she's doing.
Ooh, well. Today, this topic is perfect.
Mhm.
Oh, golly. My son had an appointment at the dentist. And even though I had explained to him that, we're going and this is what's going to happen, I forgot one step and he
Mhm.
lost it. So I'm
Oh.
angry today.
Oh, so it was perfect. I just pulled this out of the air. I said, okay,
Thank
let's.
you.
Yeah, I was like, let's talk about holding things inside, because I have some topics that I have on reserve that I've been wanting to talk about, and this is one of them. But before we get into all that, we're getting too many steps ahead. Let's start with the sip and chat song, and then we'll come right back.
Yes.
Okay.
Pull up a chair, leave your worries at the door. Whatever's on your mind, you don't have to carry it no more. The steam is rising from the cup, the vibe is feeling right. We're diving deep into the soul, we're searching for the light. From the aches and the pains to the joys we finally find. It's the sip and chat, the healing of the mind. It's Marlene and Miss Nexie, side by side. No secret too heavy, no nowhere left to hide. They're pouring out their hearts just to fill yours up again. A conversation started between two good friends. Whoa, this is the Sip and Chat, the weekly place to be, where we talk about the heart and we set the spirit free. Pour a little love, take a little sip. Life is a journey, the message is clear. Love is all you need, love is all, and you'll find it right here. Yeah. Matters of the heart, yeah, we're breaking down the walls. Learning how to stand up even after all the fall. Self-love is the lesson, self-care is the key. Becoming the person that you're meant to be. So watch the videos, enjoy the weekly flow. We're planting the seeds to help your garden grow. Turn those notifications on, don't miss a single drop of the wisdom. Because you deserve to feel better, you deserve to heal. Where we talk about the heart and we set the spirit free. Pour a little love. The message is clear. Love is all you need. Love is all, and you'll find it right here. Sip and Chat. Sip and Chat. Love yourself better. Love yourself better. Weekly podcast. Pouring out that soul. Marlene and Miss Dixie, making hearts whole. Oh yeah, making hearts whole.
Okay. Okay. Hey guys, I love that song. I know I say it every week, but I do. I really do. Hey, Miss Nexie.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So, so I have to ask you, Miss Nexie. I know you just flew in the house and got, your hair is probably standing up on end, but what are you sipping on today?
I made myself a very hot cup of coffee. I needed that, Miss Marlene. I needed
Oh,
more courage.
liquid courage?
Well, I have no tequila, so yeah, that will have to do. I'm just kidding. No, I need it. Miss Marlene, I left in a hurry, so I couldn't have my morning coffee because I got up a little late. I couldn't have breakfast, so I left without my coffee. So that
Hmm.
is why I'm having my coffee right now, this late at night.
Well, well, you're allowed to.
What are you sipping on, Miss Marlene?
Okay, okay. I was waiting for you to ask me. I was
Of
waiting.
course you were. Of course you were.
Okay, I have, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't say, but I'm having some Jack Daniels. So, some Jack.
Ooh, Jackie D.
Yeah.
So you're having fun.
Yeah, I'm having fun today.
Why you live so far? I would have been right there, like in 5 minutes. I need Jackie with me. Taking him
Well,
home.
I needed a little liquid courage to talk about this topic about there's nothing wrong with being angry because there's some things, Miss Nexty, I want to say from the beginning, there's some things that we hold from the time we were very young, little girls or little boys, and we were never given that safe space to say like it's okay for you to let it out. You don't have to be strong anymore.
But never mind safe. I mean, just a simple space to say anything. We couldn't because
Yeah,
nothing was safe with us.
nothing. Mm-mm.
You know, I understand, and yes, a lot of us keep it deep inside and don't let it out. And this is why sometimes, Miss Marlene, when when you have this um, um, either friendships or family relationships that end up in I'm not talking to you till the day I depart from this world. Don't ever call me. You get this kind of burst of craziness. It's because these people have probably had something deep inside that haven't been able to actually talk about. And when it comes out, because you've been holding it for so long, you get those never call me again, never talk to me again. I don't want to ever see you again. And you see families go through those things 20, 30 years later that they still not talking to each other because of that. I tried to create a kind of a safe space for my kids so they could say whatever, whenever, um, with respect, because that's the one thing that, you don't have to be disrespectful to say, I'm angry and this is the reason why, right? And so I try to create that. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect parent because nobody ever is. But we were able to, talk about whatever it was. I'm sure that there's some issues that they have that they probably haven't said anything to me about. Hopefully one day they will. But I try to allow them to have that space, as you said earlier, that safe space. Whatever comes your way, just say it. And I promise you, I'm not going to get mad. Just say it out loud. Don't hold it in. And so we have had those hard conversations sometimes. And it hurts when they tell you, I'm so angry because da 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 da, this time you didn't support me, or you didn't
Hmm.
listen to me, or you didn't hear me, or you left me to deal with this alone, kind of thing. It hurts. I hear it, and I, don't explain myself out. I just hear it and I say, I'm sorry, because sometimes you don't even know what you're doing wrong, right?
Yeah.
So we have that, and it's very healthy. We didn't have that safe space, safe whatever. We didn't have anything safe.
No, there was absolutely nothing safe, and that's the one thing, Miss Nexie, that I love with these conversations. That maybe if it's us talking about what we went through, so now another generation, or even the same generation, that we start to pivot, because that's what I want this channel to be about, pivoting from what you're used to and allow yourself to springboard, to elevate, to heal, to not just, when I say let things go, I don't mean that you just like it was frivolous or stupid or it didn't hurt you, but it's time for us to stop holding everything inside and give ourselves the permission to say whatever it was, whatever pain, whatever trauma, whatever abandonment issues you have, and it's time for us to allow ourselves to get angry, because Miss Nexie, there's a lot of things that happen to us that you should be angry about. That
And
you
yeah.
should be angry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? Another thing, Miss Marlene, when you say, I'm freaking angry about this. Oh, I understand you're upset. No, you're dismissing what I'm telling you. I'm angry. It's a difference. I'm not upset. You telling me I'm not that I'm upset is making me upset. I'm not upset. I'm angry. Um, and sometimes, again, we hold it in for so long that we don't confront those who have hurt us in ways sometimes that make us feel, the anger we keep inside because of either, oh, well, he's your cousin, or, well, that's your brother, or, that's your mom or dad. You're not supposed to say anything. You're not supposed to confront them. You don't resolve these things and you keep that anger inside, and every time you see them, right? Or you are around them, you just want to scream in their face, but you can't because, according to people, they're your family. That's the one thing I had to overcome when I confronted the people that I had to as I was going through therapy. Again, I'm a very a promoter of speak, don't yell. There's no need for you because nothing is going to be received on this side, which is me. And using my fingers, like if you can see me, right? Like, because nothing is going to be received on this side. Okay. My brain is, the minute you start screaming, yelling, it rejects everything you said. And then I'm going to be like, what? I'm sorry. What did you say? Oh, you were angry. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't even get that. I ignore you the minute you started screaming. So I'm a very, very much promoter of sit down. If you can stand up, walk around, whatever, but discuss whatever it's bothering you, what making you angry. Why are you this angry? Because sometimes people, the things that they do to us, it may be nothing to them, but it's a lot. It's very painful to us. And so I had to learn to say, hey, it probably meant nothing to them, right? It hurt me. So I'm confronting these people and I'm going to do it with my pain in mind, not with what they meant or that it meant nothing to them. Or, I didn't mean it that way. It doesn't matter. You hurt me. So when I did that, Miss Marlene, when I confronted the people that I had to, or when I had the conversation, right? And, the deep, deep conversation that I knew there was not going, if we didn't resolve it, there was not going back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I already had my mind made up that I'm going to say all this. And if I in any way see that they're dismissing my pain, they're dismissing their words, they don't want to take accountability, they don't want to actually accept that they did hurt me, even if it meant nothing on their end, it doesn't matter, but they hurted me. So when I came to that, I said, okay, I'm going to go in. If it doesn't get resolved, I lose this relationship, this friendship, this family member, whatever it is, I'm okay with that. Because that's the one thing you have to do when you're angry. You have to put in your head that, hey, it's probably not going to work okay, but I'm okay losing this person as
Hmm.
long as I can say my piece, right? And
Yeah,
it
and
took me a very long time, Miss Marlene, by the way, to get to that point where I could speak without crying
yeah,
or, without that pain.
yeah, and I think that's the one thing, Miss Nexie, is that the majority of us have been always taught to you hold things inside, or that you should it should be like a blind eye, like, oh, okay, that's how they are, and all the excuses, they didn't mean anything. Or the thing that really makes me even more angry, when people will tell you that your feelings are, basically they dismiss your feelings and they say you're being too sensitive. Because the thing about every single one of us, we all have been through different things that has led us to be who we are today. Different triggers and traumas, and you know abusive things, abandonment issues, the whole lot. So nobody has the right to tell you how you should feel, how you should deal with things, how your coping skills should be, because some people like to talk about things. Other people need to sit and stew over it. And none of it is wrong. But the whole thing is that we have to stop dismissing and saying things like, I'm okay, I'm good,
Mm.
there's no problem.
Hmm.
And you know that you're angry.
Yep.
And I did that for probably the first 20 years of my life.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know I know someone did something, and for in my culture, which is a Caribbean culture, that you never confront people who are older than you. You never tell people when they offended or hurt you, because it always comes back. They always throw, I'm older than you. Like, being older is a pass for walking over people, like to be a doormat to everybody. It's not. That's just not. It wasn't feasible for me anymore. I couldn't hold it. It was like I felt like I was under the crushing weight of their everything. Like, they're berating, they always put you down, they don't support you. anything that you want to do is not important, and all of those things, it builds until one day you're like that volcano and you erupt. And when you, like, I mean, what they say, when you snap, like literally, like that show, when you snap, then they're gonna say, "What happened? Why did she snap? Why did he snap?" It's all of the years of holding things in that they should have, like we said, had conversations, set boundaries, done all of that hard work, that it's not an easy thing to do, but it's important to tell people when they anger you so that they know how to deal with you. But if you always keep everything in, how can they know when they offend you?
Exactly, Miss Marlene. Exactly. And sometimes, and we sometimes have to do it with people that. Ooh, sounds robotic. Does it sound okay now? Oh, Miss Marlene. Miss Marlene.
I think I got Miss Nexie. I think she's here. You guys let me know if you can hear me. I think my phone is starting to get hot. I hope I'll be able to continue this sip and chat. But hey, Sirius, how are you doing? Welcome. Thank you, Miss Nexie, for the finger heart. I really appreciate it. Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Miss Nexie. I hope you come back. But like I was saying, it's so important for us to stop stuffing our pain, and it gets into some issues. Oh, you hear me fine? Nexie dropped. Okay. Thank you so much, Sirius. So what usually winds up happening is you keep pushing things inside, and for some people they overeat. Okay. I think here. Hi, Miss Nexie.
Yes, Miss Marlene. I
Oh,
had to
good.
get out because it was sounding very robotic. And
Oh,
then all
okay.
of the sudden I couldn't hear you. So I'm like, what in the world?
That's okay. No problem. I don't know if you were talking or was I talking. Mm.
I was about to tell you something.
Okay, go ahead, Miss
Um,
Nexie.
on on the topic that we're on today, there's so many ways that, we can sometimes take things that happen to us out of context, right? But sometimes we can make light of them because they're too painful. They're too painful for us. And that's, I think that sometimes is why we rather just keep it inside, bottle it up, because we don't want to bring that pain to the surface, right? Because again, it can create a lot of drama in your life. But I want to talk about someone, and we already talked about this with my sister. We cleared it out. I understood where she was coming from. But I had something that I was holding on, even though I love my sisters because I have two sisters. I love my sisters and we get along very, very well. We've never ever like not talked to each other. Like we're both, even if we get into little, like sisters do, right? When we borrow things and don't return them. Um, so we've always gotten along very well. But when my mom left, when she left us, I was 5 years old, right? So I'm the youngest of six. My Our older sister had already gotten married, and she had been married like for 3 years at this point. And because she wasn't married when I was 2 years old, so she's been married 3 years at this point when my mom took off. I was left with my father, three brothers, one sister at the house, right? So, probably 6, 7 months from this happening, my 17-year-old sister gets a boyfriend and she runs away with him. And she leaves me
Ooh.
there. She leaves me with my dad and my brothers. Again, it's not that she had to stay with me or that she had to take me, right? It wasn't that. But the thing is, she got married to this dude. I think like 2, 3 months after they ran away, and they started, living together. And I was there with my dad and my three brothers. And my sister, my older sister at this point, is in Argentina with her husband because from work and whatever. So um I didn't realize how angry I was with her for her leaving me because I felt abandoned, right? She didn't say anything. Of course, what are you going to say to, like a 5.5-year old? Like, what can you really say? So I had been angry with her for a very long time because without saying anything to her, right? And I didn't know how much it had bothered me or how much it had hurt the relationship we had until my sister, as she got, her husband passed away, whatever. There were some kids that had been, their mother had passed away, and they had only the dad and the stepmom. My sister took them in. Their three kids, she took them in. That's when the anger
Oh
bottled
wow.
up came up
Yeah,
to
it
the surface.
resurfaced. Yeah.
No, it came up because I didn't know it came up to the like it came to the surface. That's when I found out, Miss Marlene, that I was angry and how angry I was at my sister. Um, and I think that I had pushed it away from me because again, I love my sisters, right? I didn't want that little thing, according to me, I think, to get in the way of, our sisterhood. And so when I found out that she did that, I was so mad at her, not for taking the children in. And I had to, again, through, my therapy, I found out that it wasn't because of those kids. I mean, I'm pro taking anyone that you can help in, right? And helping them. But I was upset because she left me, abandoned me, and I was only one person. And you're taking three in, so that was my rationale. How could you do that to me? And so, but I had never confronted my sister about this. This was a very long time ago, but 20 years. The kids are already old and they're married, whatever. So, forward 20 years from that time, I was sitting down with my sister and I said, and this was probably about 2 Christmases ago. I said, she was talking about those kids and blah, blah, blah. I said, you have to stop. They're not even your kids. And
Oh.
so my sister looks at me, she goes, I know that. I said, no, you don't. I said, I was your sister and you left me. But you're worried now about three kids that they're not even your blood. And you took three in but left me. That's when I found out like, oh my God, this is coming, it's coming out now. And she's like, "Uh, I told you I felt really bad. I said, I don't care. I said, you abandoned me. And I was mad, Miss Marlene. I was
Wow.
angry. I wasn't upset. But my sister allowed me to speak out, to get everything out in the open because I was very angry. And I said a lot of things to her. And at first I said, I'm going to say a lot of things to you that I've been holding inside, that I've been wanting to say to you over the years. And I am sorry if this is going to hurt you, but I need to get it out because there was a point I said that I really, 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 really disliked you. I didn't hate you. I just disliked you. Even though we were in the same and I was loving you, I had that resentment towards you. And
Mm,
I would, not allow you in certain things because I had that resentment. And I think I was trying to hurt you in a way. I'm not sure, but I did say all this to her. And then I went out and I told her everything that I had been saving inside of me. And at the end, I told her, I said, now, because I yelled at her at this point, I said, I'm angry at you. You freaking hurt me. And I was yelling and I apologized. I said, that wasn't me. That was the 5-year-old me that been wanting to do this to you. And she started laughing. And she's like, she was crying and she's like, I am so sorry. She says, you have no idea how guilty I felt all these years. You have
mm,
no idea how hard it was for me to leave you behind. But I couldn't bring you with me because I didn't know where we were going, right? They're running away. These are young kids running away. She's like, I didn't know. And I couldn't, take you with me to adventure like that. That was the way I was thinking. She says, but I felt so guilty this whole time. And it hurts me. And I couldn't get close and enjoy everything with you because the guilt wouldn't let me. I didn't want to
mm,
celebrate things with you because I didn't feel that I deserved to be there, celebrating everything that you invited me to celebrate with you because I felt guilty. And I was like, oh my God, there's always two sides, right, Miss Marlene, to
yes.
everything. But she allowed me to get my anger out. And we've been working on, for her to forgive herself. And because she says that she's been feeling super guilty. And I've noticed that things that I would invited her through the years to celebrate, even though she can, she's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to. I don't think I can. And I'm like, but you're right here. Because at one point she lived back home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she wouldn't come. When she told me that, I said, "Oh my God!" And she said that she always blamed herself for all the pain and sorrow that I went through because she was supposed to stay and protect me. She was supposed to
Mm,
be protecting me, not being selfish and thinking only about her. When she said that, my heart got healed because she owned up to her mistake and she pretty much said everything that I knew that you were supposed to protect me, right? Because I was the baby, you were the older person, you were supposed to protect me. She said that. And we've been working on our relationship as far as her forgiving herself, and I invite her to everything. I'm like, even if you don't want, you have to come. So I let my nephews know. They bring her over, and whatever we have to do, we do it because she needs to heal too. But I didn't know, Miss Marlene, how angry and how much resentment I was holding on her until we were able to actually hash it all out.
mm-hmm. I'm so sorry that you went through that, Miss Nexie. And from one youngest child to another, I had a lot of issues that I didn't know that I had against my siblings. And it may sound silly to some, but I had the anger of my siblings enjoying life, and I was always left out.
Neglect,
Yeah,
right?
I always, and it was always, and people say that, and I don't believe you should tell that to child. Oh, you're too young. You're too little. You can't do that. It was always that. And, me having 9 siblings, that's all I heard all the time. I was always too young. I was always not big enough. You're too small. You're a girl. You're this. So it gave me so many complexes and so much resentment against each person in my family because I always felt that I wasn't good enough. And it didn't mean I wasn't good enough, but that's the way I perceived it. So little by little, I had a lot of resentment and anger against each of my siblings, and it was just because they were older,
Mhm. Yeah,
and I
and
never felt included. I think
there
that's
you
what it
go.
was. Yeah.
There you go. There you go, Miss Marlene. Exactly. You didn't feel part of the family, right? You feel like you were like an outsider because they will do everything together. Because I remember my oldest like siblings, my especially my brothers. Oh, you can come. You're a girl. Stay. We're going. Blah blah blah. And they always left us, especially me that always wanted to be tagging along with them, on the side because they were boy things. And so I never, and to this day, Miss Marlene, I'm closer to my sisters than I am to my brothers because I don't, that, how can I put it? Like that rejection that they did when I was younger, in my head, I took it as I'm not part of their family. They're not part of my
Mm.
family. I love my brothers, Miss Marlene, and they adore me too. They love me. Okay, I'm this perfection. Who wouldn't love, right? But they love me. I'm gonna give you some time to laugh. Yeah, the chatters too, they can laugh. But this perfection, I mean, seriously, come on, look at this face. Who's not gonna love this? But I have never been able to include them in certain things because I feel like they're gonna say no. And then I think that inside, deep inside, I'm still angry. And by not including them, I'm hurting them. I think that's the little girl that wanted to hurt them back then. I think that's what I've been doing all these years.
Yeah.
But you
I
feel like you're not part of them. Like they don't love you, right?
Yeah, and you know what? And even till this day, Miss Nexie, you know that I have 9 siblings. All well, now everybody knows now that I have 9 siblings. I'm the last of 10. And I always felt like my older siblings, there was like the great divide, right? That you were the older ones hung out together, and then
Hmm.
the younger ones hung out together. And I always felt like I was never part of the older because I'm never going to be their age, you know.
Not only
But
that, even the previous, I don't know how old the sister before you. I don't know how old, how many years is
my
this between
brother
you?
before me is
Oh, your
4
brother.
years older.
My brother was 9 years older than me. So how could we be close? I couldn't even hang out with him because he'd be so cool. By the time I could hang out, he had girlfriends. Anyways, you're a pest. That's what they would tell me. Get away
Oh
from here, pest.
no.
Yeah. But I would tell my dad, because I'll go crying even though it wasn't hurting me. I would just go cry. My dad will come out and say, "What the heck? You're the pest." And I'll be like, but yeah, but Miss Marlene, the relationship that we develop is so different because my sister, even the one that in my head had abandoned me, right? Even her, she's about 14 years, or no, 12 years older, excuse me, older than me. And then, our older sister, which is she's 17 years older. So I was the last, and then there's a big gap because they were done with my brother, the one before me, they were done. I was a surprise. I was an oops.
Miss Nexie, I've told you that I was an oops too.
Yeah. And when your mother says that to your face, man, that hurts.
That's another anger.
Another topic.
Yeah, but I do want to say this, that a lot of things that we were told, I don't believe that people say things to say, "Oh, I'm going to say this so I can hurt you," but the way you take it, like hearing that, "Oh,
Hmm.
oh, you're I wasn't even trying to have kids. I was having a good life until you came along." And
Yeah.
it's
Or, or,
like, "Oh, great,
or,
thanks."
or Miss Marlene, or the SOB of a doctor gave me this to not have, and he lied to me. And there you are because of his lies. He told me it was a good way to prevent having more kids. And I went
Mm,
back to him and I yelled at him and I did this because how dare he lie to me like that? He should have not. I should have continued with what I was doing. I would have not ended up having you. When your mother says that to you,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
had that told to me when I was thinking 25. We were
Mm,
talking, we had a party, and she said that in front of everyone.
wow.
Yeah, I was like, exactly that. Wow. And my ex-husband, of course, he was like, Lady, what is wrong with you?" He was very upset. I stopped him. I said, let her go. Just, this is her house.
Hmm.
We cannot go there. But again, that anger doesn't go away unless you work on it, right? Unless you voice it. Because sometimes too, Miss Marlene, I don't know if you have done this. You take something somebody does, sometimes in protection of you, you take it the wrong way and you end up very angry with them for years.
Hmm.
And you take it the wrong way, which is what I'm trying to say, right? You take it the wrong way and never talk about it, and you build this hate, this anger, this resentment. And once you talk about it, which is the most important thing that we say in this channel, do not avoid anything, confront it. And we don't mean go ahead and fight. And I mean, if you want to do fisticuffs, go ahead, but we're not promoting that. What we're saying
Hmm.
is, discussions, talk, whatever you have to do to, work on you, because this drags you down.
Yes.
And in a way, it doesn't allow you to connect to your family or friends or extended family because of all that. So
Yeah.
we need you guys to talk about it. We need you guys to bring it up to the surface. It's uncomfortable, but you also need to remember that you need to hear the other side too, not just yours. Go ahead, Miss
Yes,
Marlene.
yes,
Sorry.
and also it also when you have those anger issues, those unspoken conversations, when you're not doing, you're holding all those things inside. You stop yourself from being your best self, and that's what was my hindrance for many years because I had feelings of abandonment, feelings of you worthlessness, and so many other things for the things that had nothing to do with me. And because I didn't face it and put it out there and forgive and do those things, I was stopping myself back. I was holding myself from being the person that I deserved to be. And I
Yeah.
didn't know that or understand it because when you're in pain, when you're sad, when you're angry, you have mental health issues, when people have done things as thoughtless or abandoned you or so many other things, all you're thinking about in those moments was, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. They hurt me. They hurt
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
But also at the same time, you have to understand that holding that inside only will continue to hurt you. And, I'm not saying medical advice or anything, but you will start having some issues within your physical body. You will start getting sick if you hold those things inside. There has been endless research that will back this up. It will make you sick
Exactly.
if you keep holding in this anger and stewing in it.
Yeah. Exactly. And not everybody's going to be receptive, right, to your concerns, your aches, your pains, your anger. um Not everybody's going to be receptive, and not everybody probably is going to want to hear you or stay in your life after they hear what you have to say, but you have to be okay with that too. I i have had my I think I've said this before here, Miss Marlene, and if I'm repeating, I'm sorry, but it's important for what I'm about to say. I have always had this resentment and this anger. Had, because I already dished it all out, and I've been working on that for years. But I had this anger towards my mother. Okay, not because of the abandonment, because we had already spoken to her about that, and as I was working with my therapist, the anger I had, and sometimes I still have, even though I'm working on it, but sometimes it comes back and I have to work on that, right? And say, hey, 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 you're healing. Remember, we have to heal this. Come on. Why are you upset? I'm telling this to myself. And myself always answers back why they're bad. Anyway, not the point. So I was very angry with her. And again, everybody's different, but my mother has this huge preference for my brothers, for the boys, than she has for us girls. In everything she does, we come last, like we're not her priority. My brothers are. Example, I can call her and say, hey mom, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine, I went to the doctor, blah blah blah. And in the middle of me talking to her, oh, I gotta let you go. My baby's on the other line, your brother. I talk to you later. Boom. And she'll hang up on me. And and she, this is one example, right? If we go visit her and my brothers are there and she's asking them what they want to eat and blah blah blah, grandkids can be there. She does not care. But if her sons are there, she's just all over them, and we do not count. She'll tell you, "Oh, go ahead, something, get something to eat, get something to drink," and she'll be asking, what do you want to drink? What do you want to what do you want to eat?" And ignoring all of us, right? Or she'll put us to cook and da da da, and then my brothers were sitting down doing nothing, and we're doing the cooking. And so anyway, so good example. I live about 30 minutes before my brother's house. I think it's 40 minutes from my, I'm first and then my brother, 40 minutes away. She goes all the way, passes my house. She only has to do one exit, say hi to me, get back in the free, because I'm very close to the highway, to the freeway. And she can go her merry way. She goes all the way to my brother, stays with him 1 2 days, comes back home, and I don't find out. And this happens all the time, that she was here until she's already back home.
Wow.
And my sister's on her way too. She does not. She doesn't care. Like, we are last, but this is the thing, which is why it angers me, right? And why it bothers me, because if she ever needs anything, my brothers are never there for her.
Hmm.
Guess who has to take her to the doctors? I am.
Yeah.
My sisters. Guess who has to go
Hmm.
look for her prescription? We are. Guess who has to, if something happens at her house, we need to go call whatever and get her someone to fix this and that. We have to do it
Oh,
because my brothers go off on her. Like, oh my God, I told you already. Don't you know how to do that?
but you know what, Miss Nexie? Unfortunately, in our culture, my mom told me that one day. She said, "Well, I only asked the girls this because that's women's stuff. Boys aren't
Mm,
supposed, men aren't supposed to do those things. So that's why
mhm.
I don't ask them."
No, no, no. My mom actually even said to us that when she was having children, that when she had a boy, she will get so happy. And if a girl was born, she'll be so sad and so depressed because she knew that the girl was going to come to suffer like she did, like she's suffering in this world, whatever. My father was the opposite. When we were born, he was head over heels for us. Girls, girls, girls. He loved my brothers and he was happy, but he was more excited that we girls were born.
Hmm.
But my father never said that. He never said, I didn't want my boys. I hated them. We just knew that he got really my sisters will say, when you were born, oh my God, he was so happy it was a girl. And
Hmm.
so, but he never said, I like girls more than I like the boys.
But
You know
you
what I
can
mean? Like,
tell, but we can
yeah,
always tell. Yeah.
I know. But my mother actually tells you that she's like so sad when girls were born. And then the next pregnancy, she'll always be worried, oh my God, I'm probably having another girl. Like that. And with disgust in her
Wow.
face. And so all those things, again, they make you angry, right? And I just will push him. Me and my sisters will push him away, push it away, still help her, still do this, still do that, until we got to a point, especially me, when my dad, number two, passed away, dad two. I came to the realization as I was living there with them that there was a side of her that I had not seen, that I didn't know. And it gave me the opportunity to know her better, right? Because I've never really lived with her since I was 5. So, a couple of years here and there, but not really. So all those things came up and it gave me the opportunity to say, okay, now I'm voicing this out. And again, with the mindset of, if she doesn't stay in my life because of what I'm about to say to her, I'm okay with that. And I
Exactly.
did it. And I did it, Miss Marlene and Chatters. I talked to her. I told her exactly everything deep, deep, deep inside my soul. I told her how much she hurt me because I was only talking about me. I couldn't talk for my sisters. But I'm sure I said that they're probably hurt too, but I'm talking about me. We're not going to talk about them. I said, you have hurt me so much, so many times. I said, and that, the saddest thing is that you don't care. I said, and I'm looking at your face right now and you're annoyed because I'm telling you these things and you don't care. I
Hmm.
said, so, that hurts me. And so I told, I spoke out everything, put everything on the table. I finished. I wasn't crying, Miss Marlene. I was just more like waiting for an answer. And when I was done, she's like, okay, if that's the way you feel about it, then I mean, what are you doing here?
Mm.
That was her answer. I mean, if that's the way you think that I'm mean, that I've done this, that I've done everything, what do you expect? I already told you I'm not going to apologize because I haven't done anything wrong. And if you feel that way, why are you here? And I
Mm.
said, because I needed to say this to you before I'm not here anymore. And we did, I stayed there the night. The next morning, I had already packed my things in the middle of the night. Next morning came, I asked for an Uber to take me to the train station, took the train, and that was it.
Wow.
And I didn't go back. I think 3 years after my dad too passed away, I went to say hi. I had those feelings again, and I said, nope, I'm done. Because
Mm.
she started saying in front of my sister, like, did you tell her how you were so mean and telling me all the things that I have done to you, but didn't bring up everything that you have done to me? And my sister looked at her like, what are you talking about? And I just shook my head. I was like, okay, I'm done. And I haven't been back ever since.
Mm. Mm.
Not worth it.
It's you know
My mental
that
health is not worth it. It's not.
yeah, Miss Nexie, there's something like, I'm so sorry that you have had to deal with this your entire life. And that's one of the things that going to therapy, I thought once I started getting better and okay, now I have enough strength to tell somebody how I feel. You have that expectation in your mind. Once I say, you've done this and this, you expect for them to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that, blah, blah, blah. But when they have like the attitude, well, that was you, and or they make an excuse and it's not what you've expected, I feel like that hurts even more than what they did initially. You feel like you got rejected again.
Exactly, Miss Marlene. It feels like you got dismissed, right? Again, like you're not taking my feelings seriously, woman. Like this is, and then this is what I told her. I said, I know you don't like to talk about things. I know you don't like for us to bring the past. I said, but the only way you are going to heal, and I'm talking to you, I said, you are going to heal yourself and you're going to be in peace with yourself is bringing the past back and healing it, because you're never going to be in peace. You're never going to be okay with yourself. You're never going to be in I said in a good light with anything. I say you can go to church all you want, but if you don't deal with those demons you have inside, then there's no point. Because if we go by that rule, you're sinning, right?
Mhm.
And then she's like, well, this is the way I am, blah, blah, blah. And she's so fearful of sleeping alone. She's so fearful of, staying in her house alone because now she's completely alone. My dad, too, is gone. And, she makes
Mhm.
sure that none of us were close enough to help her. So none of us can go drive 2.5 hours, 3 hours every week to go see her because it's far away,
Yeah.
you know? And so I told her, I said, the only way you're going to heal, the only way you're going to be able to be okay being around us without feeling that anxiety, because that anxiety is because you have wronged us. And you
Yeah.
have never once excused yourself or say sorry that I hurt you guys. I said, so as your daughter, I said, I'm telling you, as you, an abandoned daughter, from a mother who abandoned me. I said, and I took that as your daughter out because I didn't want her to. I said, but I come from a mother who abandoned me. So, as an abandoned daughter from a mother who left me, I'm telling you, you need to talk about this. You need to make your peace with everyone. I said, and you will be able to be in peace with yourself and be happy and enjoy life. I said, we're not perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody. The only perfect being this in our world and heaven and earth is God. Nobody else has that perfection. I said, so you have to make peace. You have to, apologize. You have to talk about what it did to you or what gave you the strength to leave. I say, you
Mhm.
have to talk about these things. And the best persons to do it with is with those you harm, you hurt, your children.
Mhm.
And she's like,
Well,
I have nothing to talk about. I have
well,
nothing. No, I've done
well,
nothing
Miss,
wrong.
well, Miss Nexie, I'm gonna give you some hope for this because it wasn't until my mom was like 76, 77 before she finally came to that space. She
Miss
called me.
Marlene,
She called
my
me.
mother,
Oh, go ahead.
no, no, I'm saying my mother is 98. She will never go there.
Mm.
Yep, I know that. And I have to be okay with that. Did she call you? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Marlene. I didn't mean to.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not saying that everybody's gonna have that same reaction, but I had given up and said my mother will never change. This is how. And one day she called me out of the blue, asked me to come over, and she said, I've been thinking about so much things in the life, and I know I did a lot of things that hurt you, Miss Nixie. When I tell you, I could a feather could have knocked me over.
So that saying is correct on the way you felt that day?
Yeah. So and she was just talking, and I felt like I was having an out of body experience
How beautiful.
because I was thinking to myself, I was like, what caused you to finally come to you know, this
Hmm.
space in your life? She never told me why, because next thing, like 6 months later, she had passed away.
But I
So
think it was you, Miss Marlene. Seeing you healthy, seeing you work through therapy, seeing all those things, I think that's probably what helped her.
it could be because some of the things that started happening is I started holding everybody accountable. Like, and I
Hmm.
told her, like, if you're going to be rude to me, I'm not going to talk to you. If you're not going to respect the boundaries of whose ever house, we're not going to invite you.
Hmm.
So I was like, your actions causes our reaction. So
Mm.
and I think she started to sit with that she can't just do whatever she wants because most of the time, let's be real, Miss Nexie, most of the time, people when they're adults and of course they're raising you, of course they're your parents, but they don't
Mm.
understand that after your kids become adults, then your kids don't have to deal with you anymore because they're not little kids now, they're grown and they have
Yeah.
to they make their own choices now. So if you treated your kids like garbage their whole lives, now you expect for them to be there for you. It's like it don't work that way.
No, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. And that's exactly what my point was, Miss Arlene, with my mother. It's not that I'm a bad daughter. I'm a horrible daughter. No, I don't think I am. I don't. I know that I am not. Right, because me trying to make peace with everything that went on was to make our relationship better. But when she said, I owe no one an apology, not even you, because I am your mother. You should be apologizing to me. And I was like, okay, there's no
Wow.
getting through to her, right? What I was trying to tell her is, as you get older, because again, I spoke to her about this, Miss Marlene, about 30 years ago when I had all these conversations with her. And she said this to me. That was about 30 years ago. Okay.
Mm.
And to this day, she can say, do things that are hurtful to you in her house, in your house, and she will never apologize. She just like, okay, fine, I'm leaving then. You don't want me here? Fine. And she just takes off. And so, anyway, so she's always been like that. But the one thing I did do, and I think that's why she probably feels a certain way with me, is that that thing that you just said. Our mothers, from we're the same background, our Korean backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like they have a say even on the way we on our own home, a married
Yes.
daughter's home. Okay. They come there
Mm-hmm.
and they start criticizing everything you do. They start talking about, oh my God, you have all this laundry. Why haven't you? I never had this in my house. I did my laundry every day, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, you have shoes all over the place. I never had that. My husband never, and they will say things like that, and or reorganize your house. Oh, no, no, no. The
Mm-hmm.
cups, I didn't like them here. I put them down here because it's easier to grab. I said, you know what I mean? Like things like that, right? They come to your house, and because you're their child, they don't understand that you're married now, or you're single, but you're living on your own now, and this is your home. They have no
Mm-hmm.
right to tell you how to, put things, or what colors to use or whatever, right? So, she did that a few times, and I had to tell her, you can't do that. This is my house. This is my family's home. Whatever way we want to keep the cups, the color of the rooms, the color of the kids, bed sets, whatever. It has nothing to do with you. I say you cannot say things like that because you make them feel bad. And you make me feel like in your house when you're in my house. And
Mm-hmm.
so she got upset and she's like, okay, fine. I won't come here anymore. I said, hey, you're the one saying that I'm not kicking you out. I'm just asking you to respect the fact that I am a married woman, and that whatever way my husband and I want to have this house, it's between the two of us. It has nothing to do with you. That's all I'm asking you, to have respect. Oh, now I have to be respectful when I come in here. Oh my God, I cannot even talk anymore. I'm like, you know what? Whatever, dude. She's like, okay, fine. I'm leaving then. And she called my dad too. And he just looked at me and said, oh, not again. And she left. She didn't talk to me like for 3 years, Miss Marlene.
Mm. But you
Hmm.
know what? But she's the one that has the issue. And
Yes.
that's one of the things that I'm grateful that my mom actually came to that space and said that the reason why I was the brunt of my mom's anger, and I couldn't believe when she told me, is because I am what she always wished that she could have been.
Little pain in the truth.
Yeah, like if I don't like something, I'm gonna tell you. I was like, I don't like that. And that's why me and her always were like oil and water, because when I would if I didn't like it, I'm not gonna just like keep letting it happen. I was like, no, I don't like that. And she'd be so offended because I would keep taking it. Well, I said, I'm not you. You can keep taking it if you want to, but I'm out of here.
But I'm so happy she did,
Yeah,
because it made that relationship so much better.
we didn't have and I still have sadness for that, because we only really had about, I want to say, it was less than 8 years. It was like 7 years. Yeah,
Wow.
where we were really like close, and it was like every day. I was like, "Hi, mom, how you doing?" And like, it was, it had passed like the mother daughter, and we were friends.
That's good. But you had that many years. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that we had 7 years of checking on each other. Are you okay, baby? Do you need something? And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, the little girl inside me, like, why did you do this to me when I was, I need you when I was up there? And she's like, well, yeah. But the thing about why I brought this up, Miss Nexie, is because we also have to understand when people hurt us is because they're hurt too.
Hmm.
And I didn't get that part before. And she had to come to that space. She had to deal with her stuff. And of course, because she didn't deal with her stuff, we were the brunt of her anger.
Yeah,
So,
and yeah, we get that. Like I had to learn that too, Miss Marlene, the hard way. That it wasn't just my feelings that were hurt. Like I had to think of where they came from, what kind of life they had. Think about that. Maybe it was rough life. Maybe her parents. You know what I mean? Like my father will always say that. Don't be so quick to jump on a certain conclusion because you don't know. Like if I will be upset, like sometimes I will hear things through the vineyard of my mom, and I will be like upset that she's doing this, and I can't believe she's having that kind of life, so happy, and we're over here struggling. My father will say, "Don't do that," because I would say she doesn't care, right? It doesn't matter. I don't care either. My father will say, "Don't." You have to stop and think where she comes from too. And I didn't understand what he meant, but then as I started having children, and in this country, which is so different to where I'm from, and some clashes I had with my kids, and now that we talk about this with my kids, because I was kind of like raising them kind of the way I was raised back home, right?
hmm
Without any freedom, a lot of rules and regulations, and you have to have those, but you have to pick when they deserve to be, there's a rule to be placed, because sometimes you don't need them, right? Sometimes you can be more lenient. So I I made a lot of boo-boos with my kids growing up, and my daughters and we talk about it, especially with my second daughter, and I always apologize, 'cause I was so this, I was so that, and she's like, Mom, it took me a while to understand, but you come from a different country. It's like a different world from the country I was born in. So you had your own beliefs, you had your own upbringing. So it was different. And I understand. Says now that I'm a mom, right? I understand what you were trying to do, and because I want to protect my child the same way. And it will be easier for me, she said, because I'm here. You know what I mean? Like I grew up here. I grew up in a different environment. So it's probably gonna be a lot easier for me. And I said, good luck with that.
yeah, keep on thinking so, right?
I said, no, you know what? Dreams are free. Who am I to disagree? I was gonna sing that song. No, but again, it's we don't understand certain things where our parents are coming from, or sometimes even Miss Marlene, our oldest siblings, the ones
Mhm.
that have actually dealt with our parents every nightmare, right? The beatings, the calling
Yep.
of names, the corporal punishments. You know what I mean? Like the ones that went through everything. And when we were born, it was paradise because all of that was already done. And we came to the tired parents, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes we have to actually think about that too, because that's the one thing I had to go back with my sister and think about that too. Her pain, her hurt, how hurt she was, how maybe so alone she felt when my mom left. for her to, do what she did, and how probably worried she was for where her, her life was going to go,
Exactly.
or what was going to happen. So I had to go back and do that too, put myself in their shoes and kind of say, okay, I understand why you are the way you are. And my brothers too, because my brothers went through a lot with my mom, because, my mom and dad, but mostly my mom.
Hmm.
And so my brothers, I understand why sometimes they act the way that they do. And we've had conversations, and we have forgiven each other for a lot of things, and we have tried to continue to go on from a place of healing, right? We're not going to overstep. We're going to make sure that we stay sincere to one another, always thinking of the other person's feelings, but as long as it is good for your mental health. Because if something goes wrong and it's crossing that line, then we're going to back away. And we had that conversation. And it's why, now we're united, and we all are together in a way that nothing from the outside can interrupt the relationship we're building.
Yeah, and I think, Miss Nexie, the reason why we go through things, well, I know in my family we went through a lot of things, but we didn't talk about things, and
Mm-mm.
it sounds unfortunate, but we we wouldn't be the persons that we are if my parents were still alive. And
Yep.
I'm not trying to be rude or anything or offend
Morbid.
anybody,
No.
but that's what, yeah, I'm not trying to be morbid, but that's what worked in our family. Our healing couldn't begin until they were not here.
Yeah, exactly, because of that influence, right? Those outside
Yeah.
influences. And that you knew that they could always go this way or that way. Even if you were trying to build something here, it couldn't be built because they will go revert back to that always,
Hmm. It
right?
was in our family. It was always the division thing, like boys against girls, and there was no relationships, there's no, support, no, none of that. And after they were gone, we're like, we're not doing this division thing. There's no boys against girls. We're siblings. We
Yep.
love each other. That's it. And
Yeah,
end it.
yeah, exactly. And we actually, my father just passed away. But my father always told us since we were little, you guys have to make sure that you have, your sisters, to the boys, your sisters backs, and you girls have to have your brothers back. You guys have to be united. You guys have to be a unit together, because as you get older and start, getting married, having kids, you guys are the next generation. You guys are going to be together more than you're going to be with us. So you guys have to make sure that you have a good relationship with one another, because when we're gone, the only people that you're going to be able to rely on is your brothers and your sisters, right? So you guys have to make sure to have a good and healthy relationship. And outside influence for us came from the other parent, right? That was always putting things in somebody else's basket that didn't belong there. And then there will be misunderstandings, and I didn't say that. No, I didn't do that. Who said that, or whatever, right? So what we're doing now, Miss Marlene, in order for us to heal and to have a relationship with one another, is that if that other party asks, have you talked to your sister? Nope, not really. Oh, you know how she is. Yep, I know. And I talked to my sister an hour ago, right? But I said nothing. If my sister, she calls my sister, how you doing? Have you talked to so and so? No, mom, been days since I talked to her. Yeah, that's how she is. She always goes dark, whatever. So we keep her at arm's length, only privy to the things that we want her to know, not anything that is going on with us. And it's very sad that it has to be done that way. But then if you don't, that anger builds up again, right? That resentment, that, oh my God, here we go again. Seriously, lady. So We try to do that so that we can keep the peace among us and they can keep peace with her.
Yeah,
It's
that's
weird.
actually that Miss Nixie. It's not weird because that's what we had to do in our family because it would always be like trying to put us against each other
Hmm. That's how
Be-
she does.
because it was like she only wanted us to be connected with her,
Yep.
and to me that's like that's a lot of manipulation,
Yep.
you know,
But
and
that's how they did it back in the day. You had their mom was supposed to be everything, right? So they
mhm,
want you to be everything, like that, them to be everything to you. And I understand that as a mother, of course you want your kids to come to you for everything because you want to protect them, you want to love them. But as a mother, you also have to be happy that they have their siblings there, that they will tell their siblings, they ask their siblings for help before they ask you. You got to be happy about that. That means you did a good job. They have that connection, that closeness, you know what I mean? And
that's what
our
I'm
parents
saying.
didn't think that way. Our parents were like more like, oh, you know how she answered me this, she was so rude. Then my brother also come to me and say, why were you rude to mom? What? Like when? Well, she said she called you and you were like all rude. I said, no, I wasn't. And I'll be like, okay, when did I answer rude? You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
things like
but
that. So
but
we
you
had to
know
create.
But you know what,
Go.
Miss Nixie? I had to learn, and my parents had to learn. You know, coming from their culture, from Caribbean culture, anything other than yes, mom, and no, mom is wrong. You can't
Yes,
have you,
ma'am.
you can't have ideas. You can't want something different. You have to do exactly what they say, how they say it, and when they say it. And if you don't, you're ungrateful, you're a terrible child, and and everything else.
And
um
everything in between.
yeah. Hmm.
I I got a lot of again, my father, my siblings, they nobody ever hit me, right? Nobody ever did traumatize me that way. A spoiled little brat. But I had that with my siblings and my dad. When I came here to visit my mom for the first time, it was my first beating. And I mean, it wasn't a slap, it wasn't a spanking, it was a beating, Miss Marlene. And the reason why is because I have the tendency, and my daughters do the same thing, is like when people are talking to you, trying to argue with you, especially if it's people that you care for, whatever, I stay quiet. Even if you're yelling, whatever, I just stay quiet and I just look at you. And she will hate it because I wouldn't answer back. Right? She will be like, so what do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And she will, because if I answer back, I'm thinking she's gonna hit me even more. Besides, that's not me. I have to just let her vent, whatever. And so that day she was yelling at me and asking me why I did whatever it is. I don't even remember what I was doing. um I was probably like 10 years old, 11, the first time I met her, and then I went back home. And she beat the living out of me, Miss Marlene. She even like
Wow.
I'm like she grabbed the belt and she was hitting me with the buckle.
Mm.
She was everywhere. So she opened my thumbs. The bone was exposed. I had bruises everywhere, and I didn't go to school like for a week. But what I'm trying to say is that bothered her that I didn't answer back. But then if you answer back, they hit you too, right? If you say no, that's not the way it's done. How dare you answer? Yes, how dare you, right?
Hmm. but
And
but
so, oh yeah, go ahead, Miss Lynn.
yeah, and also, so you don't win, Miss Nixie. That's what we're trying to
You
say.
don't.
Whether you say you agree and say you cannot say anything, you cannot have an opinion, you can't even look like I look down and then, oh, you have an attitude.
Oh yeah, you ignoring me now?
And you're like, I
Yeah. And my daughter's the same way. You can be like, I can't believe you did this, but I look at this grades, blah, blah, blah. She was just stay quiet and look at you and say nothing. And then when you're done, can I go to my room now? Yes, go ahead. And then she'll come back with, I'm sorry, I promise I'll study more. But I've never gotten him used to like just the one yes or no. Like, no, like if I want your opinion, your ideas. But with her, you never want, because either like I'm the type that stays quiet, right? I think once or twice I went like that to someone, and um I think it was her that I did the ugh, and I think she hit me in my mouth and I was bleeding like. But anyway, so she will say, got to answer me. Next time I say, da, 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 answer me, right? So the next time she said something, I was trying to do that. And she went off on me again and hit me, pull my hair, pull my ears. And I'm like, but you said to answer you. Oh, you're disrespectful now. It's like,
Miss Nixie, Miss Nixie, I learned to not say anything. Even when they would say something, they
mhm.
don't really mean say something.
You learned the hard way.
Yeah. hmm And if I smile or something, oh, you think it's funny?
Uh-huh. Oh, I'm a clown to you now? I'm a joke? And again, Miss Marlene, all that anger, that the words that they say to you, the things that they do to you, all that thing, it can hurt you in the long run, as you said.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I've seen a lot of people like have this, different ailments, like, or I have cancer in my stomach, or I have blood pressure issues now, that, or I have this thing that I cannot sit down, I got to be doing something, and the anxiety, right? And and you're thinking it's because of all of those things that you have bottled up, all that anger that you cannot say anything, you probably never let go, and your parents are probably not here anymore, or all the traumas that you didn't kind of like worked on, and you kept them inside, have given you all these different conditions, right? You have to make sure that you speak out what bothers you. If the people that you have to out it with ignore you, then use your therapist, or write it down and burn it if you want to, but you have to talk to someone about it, because there's some things like diabetes and all of that that is not a reversible thing. Heart problems, cancer sometimes, that stomach or whatever. You have to talk about these things, and you have to work your anger issues, because they can hurt you more than they can help you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing, Nexie, is that the reason why I wanted to have this conversation, and we talked for a long time about you know our parents and siblings, but there is also a lot of anger you can have from an ex, an ex spouse, ex boyfriend, um, and all of the things that they've done. And I want to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Because there's so much things, because like when you're in a relationship, you're supposed to walk the line. You're supposed to look a certain way as a wife or a girlfriend, or vice versa. If you're a boyfriend or a husband, you're supposed to look a certain way and talk a certain way in front of people, and you're always supposed to walk the straight and narrow. You're supposed to be good, you're supposed to take care of them, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. And nobody ever sees all of the things in the background that you've been doing, and the times where they don't support you, they're not helping, they're not balancing the scales of the relationship, and you're doing so much and they're doing nothing. And that causes a lot of anger. It makes you feel like you're the only one in the relationship. And that's what I had a lot of anger for with my ex. I always felt like I was, I'm not perfect. I have things about me that I'm sure that he will say I did a lot of things, and I am accountable to all for all of those things. But like if you talk about things that you needed and it was always like, yeah, like it's not important. Okay, I'll get to that later. Or why are you always nagging me? You're always
Mm,
nagging me. You're always bothering me. Or if you want, like, can we talk about something? Oh, you always want to talk about stuff. So
mm.
after a while, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, once I realized that I'm never going to get what I need from the relationship, that started anger issues with me. And I don't know, I think at that point that I didn't know that that was the time I should have left the relationship.
Yeah, which is why you accumulate so much more anger because you stayed when you knew you were supposed to go,
Yeah. But
when you
my
should
thing,
have left.
but Miss Nexie, so many of us feel like from the way we were raised, oh, you got to be a good woman. You got to be a good
Yeah,
wife. You got to be a good
yeah,
this. You got to be good that. And it's like you're supposed to hold all the cards together. You're supposed to hold
yeah.
everybody up, hold everybody down. Take care of this. Do that. The house is clean. Is it? Do you get food? Do you do this? Are you taking care of that? Oh, and don't even talk about, are you satisfying him?
I said, my, no, 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 my ears are broken. No, 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 don't talk about
Okay.
that.
But I'm just saying that's a part of the equation. So it
Yeah.
always feels like when you're in a relationship for a long period of time, when you've been past the honeymoon period, you've been married over 10 years, or you've been in this relationship over 10 years, you know the ins and outs of this person, you know what makes them tick and all of these things. But I think for me, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it started to be like, no matter what I do, I can't make you happy.
Hmm.
It's like and I got to the point where I'm not going to try anymore,
Yep.
because
Yep.
it's like everything I do, oh, it's like everything you do, they'll oh, this isn't done, and why didn't you do, oh, and you didn't get this, I thought you were going to the store, and oh, you didn't wash your laundry.
Everything. Yeah.
Every little thing, and it gets to be like, nope, I didn't do it, why not? Because you were going to complain if I washed your clothes. Oh, you didn't iron it, or you didn't get my dry cleaning, or you didn't get this, you didn't do that. It's like, come on, dude.
And again, it's something that you think about, not in the moment, not in the midst of, the relationship, but after you end it is when you go back and say, oh my god, I should have left 10, 15 years ago. I should have left. Why did I stay? You start thinking about all that. I when my ex-husband and I, you know, got separated and everything, I asked them to give me a cool off period before we started the divorce proceeding. I said, I'm very angry, you know. I'm very I hate you right now. I do. And at that point I thought I did. Even though I don't, but you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
thought I
I
did.
know.
And so I said, I need time for you to allow me to process this, because if we do it right now, I'm gonna take you to the cleaners. That's how mad I am. And it's gonna cost our children their future with us, because they're not gonna stay high schoolers, they're not gonna stay junior hires. They're not gonna stay, you know what I mean? Like these little kids that they are, they're gonna grow up, and depending on how we deal with this separation, this divorce, that's exactly what we can expect our relationship with them to be. So give me that, because I was very upset. I was very angry. I was very hurt. I was very confused with everything that
Hmm.
was going on, right? So he gave me that, and I appreciate him even more than before because he was kind enough to do that. It was convenient for him too, right? Waiting for our last one to be of age, but not the point. And so we did the process with, with clear heads and cool hearts. Like there's no feeling left. So now we can
Mm,
actually deal with whatever we need to deal. But didn't, but still, Miss Marlene, the anger I felt wasn't gone because we had not dealt with it. Right. So we did this, we got divorced, whatever. And once we signed that, everything was, cool. Um, we started going out, like taking our sons sometimes camping, and they'll invite me or whatever. I will go. And we started going out and kind of like um, being in the same space together because we had not done that for over 18 years. Like he will come pick up our son, take him. We will sometimes eat together. On Mother's Day, he will take me out for my birthday. And that was it. But living in the same space for many days, it had not happened. So when we started doing this, that's when I started realizing how angry I was because all the things that I
mm,
used to used to just bother me I started seeing them again, right? And we sat down, we started talking, and because I was something about dinner. I was about to prepare dinner, and I did some potatoes, like nice roasted potatoes, and um I put him in the plate. I plated them for everything, gave him the food, and the first thing I hear is not thank you, right? For cooking and the food. It's like, oh my God, you left the skin on the potatoes.
mm.
Yeah. And I'm biting my tongue because I'm like, we've only been here 3 hours, right? I don't I want to enjoy a little bit more before I will dump him on the river unalive. So I just laugh. I said, no, I didn't. And these are the little pinkish ones, the little tiny potatoes that you don't peel, right? Because their skin is so soft.
Yeah.
Then the next day, something else, like, oh my God, this thing is over the toast is over toasted. Like I didn't want it toast. And even okay, I could eat it, but it's over I started going back to everything that happened in the 20 plus years that we were married. And I said, we need to talk. After, like, I had the knife in my hand and I put it down, said, we need to talk. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, no, really, we need to before I use this knife. And I started telling him how much it bothered me that nothing was ever good enough for him. I said, you have no idea how many times I had to repeat the same dish, or take this, take that, or I don't like this drink. I have to get you something. I said, you have no idea how tired and how angry
Mm,
that made me. I said that I was trying to be the best that I could be, raising kids, going to school, doing this, and nothing was ever enough. And you never helped. I was dealing
mhm,
with the kids. I was dealing with the house. I was dealing with work. I was dealing with school. And you would just come home upset because you had a hard day at work. Really? I had
mhm,
no breaks. I said, because every time I took a break, you will call me 17, 18 times to find out how long and to say, hey, the kids want something. What do I give them? I said, I never had any free time. I said, I've had more free time now that you're not in my life than I did before. I said, when I look at you, I said, I get really angry. I get sometimes the desire to, I don't know, punch you in the face or something because I haven't worked this anger out yet. And he's looking at me, are you gonna punch me? I said, keep it up. I said, keep it up, keep this crap up. Everything that you're
mm.
doing, keep it up. I said,
I
you'll
was like,
find out.
keep the same energy. I'm telling you. Hmm.
FAFO. I said, okay, mess up and you will find out. And he's like, no, no, no. I understand. But God, but I help. I said, no, you didn't. And that's when I got everything out, Miss Marlene. I said, no, you didn't. I said, you left me. everything. You will go to work, yeah, from 8 in the morning to 8:30 at night, and come home and be all upset, and the kids were already fed, already, bathed already, everything. It was just time for them to go to bed. I said, and then you'll be upset because you had a hard day at work and you didn't never ask me, are you tired? Are you okay? Let me help you put the kids to sleep so you can. I said, no. I said, when we were sick, you were laying down. I was sick as a dog. I had to get up and take care of all of you, not once. And so all of these things just came out rushing like a river, Miss Marlene.
Mm-hmm.
And I said everything I had to say. And then I said, okay, now I'm done. And I'm done with you. And if you don't like what I do, then cook for yourself. I
Yeah.
get up, I went into the RV, I went into my room, and I read a book. In the morning, somebody was cooking. But again, they make you feel like you're crazy. And the worst thing, Miss Marlene, which is why I was so angry, is that my dad was such a hands-on dad with, yeah, and I understand my dad was left with six of us. But even before that, my dad was a very hands-on dad. And he was the type of man that if my mom was doing the dishes, he'll be brooming all the little things that we dropped during dinner, or putting the dishes away, or trying to distract us. So my dad was like that. And having someone that it was in its own little world, and sometimes working 6 days a week, and not really helping, even the day that he was there, it was complaining. It was, "Oh, what about these kids, because you're babying them too much, blah blah blah, blah." So, oh, you haven't done laundry yet? Like, what time are you starting it? And all those things. What bothered me the most and got me really angry when I finally said everything that I said is that I made myself little in his eyes. I made myself invisible to him. And what I mean is, I made myself in his eyes like I had no feelings, like nothing bothered me, like everything was
Mm-hmm.
okay. I disappear in front of him. And that was on me. It wasn't on him. It was on me because I never said anything. So I had to
Well,
own up to that.
mm, see, the thing, Miss Nexie, is we had the opposite thing. I always said how I felt, but my feelings were invalid. It was always like, okay, for instance, you know how Caribbean people are about they don't want to see tears. So it,
Mm.
it was like, and that used to drive me crazy in the relationship. And when I thought about it, how are you going to be in a relationship with somebody and what am I, a robot? And I was like, I thought about it one day, like, if I can't cry with you, then who the
With
am I
who? Yeah.
supposed to cry
Mm-hmm.
with? It's like, if I can't be vulnerable with you, it's like, then what am I doing here? Where am I supposed
Mm-hmm.
to go and be vulnerable? Like, and the more that I start thinking about things, I was like, this, I'm done with this. You know, after you start doing a laundry list of all of the things, it's like one day it hit me, like, you have never supported me.
Mm-hmm. But you don't
You
know, you don't see that in the beginning.
know, and it gets to one day you just wake up like, what am I doing? Like, literally, what am I doing with my life?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of women and men, they lose themselves in the relationship trying to make them happy, which you never can.
Mm-hmm.
So you've lost yourself helping and supporting them. And guess what happens? They get far in their career. They
Mm-hmm.
they most of the time wind up cheating on you. Okay.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Disrespecting you, sometimes physically, emotionally, and many sometimes financially, because that's the whole thing too of some of the reasons why I had a lot of anger issues. It's like, you're supposed to handle all this stuff and you're not getting financial support, and it's like,
Mm.
well, it's like, hello, Are
or
you
they don't
gonna
want to
help?
even be in charge of paying things. Like, no,
Yeah,
no, you do that. You pay everything. It's like, oh, so what do you do? I
yeah.
never had that. The only thing I did, another thing, Miss Marlene, that again, just to go because of, as you said in the beginning, Caribbeans expect you, or Hispanics, same thing, expect you to be the perfect wife, the perfect mom.
Mm-hmm.
Since your mom didn't complain, you're supposed to be the same way. You see your sisters not complain and do everything in the house, and the husband just sit around and they help for nothing. So you go with that mindset, I'm supposed to be just the same, right? And so I remember when we used to go on vacations, that it was at least 2 to 3 a year. And I'm on vacation, Miss Marlene. When you're on vacation, are you on a schedule, or do you
Mm-hmm.
eat whenever you wake up? Do you sleep late? I would have loved to sleep late, but we couldn't. Okay. So we're on vacation and it's like it's 8 o'clock, 7:38, and it's making all this noise. And we wake up and like, what's wrong? Well, I mean, it's 8 o'clock already. Yeah, so I figure you guys should wake up by now. I'm getting hungry. What? Like, okay. And you have to get all the kids ready. You have to get yourself ready, and they're not helping you. And they're like, my sugar is low. I don't feel good. Hurry up. How long is it going to take you? Blah, 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 blah. And you got to be at breakfast the latest by 9, and you
Mm-hmm.
rush, 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 and you don't enjoy vacations, and you keep on doing it year after year after year, to the point where you're like, "Oh, I really don't want to go on this vacation. But if I say no, right? Now, why am I bringing this up? Because that was for 20 plus years that you have to get up. You have to do this. We got to have a schedule. We got to see sightsee at this time, this time. And it's like, we're on vacation. And God forbid you went off on anything because it was the end of the vacation. You had ruined it because you weren't there at 6 and you were supposed to be there at 6. Now we're not going to be able to see that at 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I say all this because now I get up and well, 8:39, and I start cooking breakfast for my son, and I'm like, in the RV, whatever, and you want anything? Oh, I don't eat until noon. In fact, I only eat like twice a day. I'm like, seriously? And again, this is very healing because all the anger that I've been carrying, it comes out in certain moments. And the beautiful thing, Miss Marlene, is that he allows me now to just get it out. And he'll be like, yeah, I know. I was such a blah blah blah. I'm sorry. Or you feel better now? I say, yes, so much better. Thank you for letting me just vent and call you all those names that I meant. By the way, I'm not taking those back. I figure as much, he says.
Mm-hmm.
And but now we don't eat until noon, 12:30, and only twice a day. And I said, oh, okay, that's you. But because he'll ask, why are you cooking? I said, for breakfast for us, you know yeah. Oh, I don't need breakfast. I wasn't saying you, I'm saying me and our son. For
Yeah,
us.
think about somebody other than yourself.
No, and then no, no, but then he says, "Oh, I don't need breakfast." I said, "Again, I'm cooking it for us, for me and my son." I didn't know if you wanted anything. No, I don't need anything. He and I, we don't need anything until 12:30, and then maybe like around 5. I said, "You don't feed breakfast to my son?" And that's when I exploded. I went on and on and on and on. Then I feel so much better, and he's like, all right, better? Yeah, okay then. It's almost 11. You know what? I'll take breakfast. I said, then you make it yourself because I'm already done. I'm already eating with my son. He's like, wow.
Yep.
But it's allowing me to bring all this up, standing up for something that I didn't, because the anger is, Miss Marlene, because I was the type of person that didn't allow people to get away with certain things. I will stand up for my sisters, for me, sometimes with my, extended family. But I allow this person to do all these other things, and I never stood up for me. I never showed up for me. So that anger of me allowing him. to get away with so much is what it was bothering me. I sleep better now that we've been having these conversations with him, that we've been, and because he will say, yeah, well, you hurt me, blah, 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 blah. And I take accountability. I say, yeah, I know I did. I didn't even think about how you felt, right? And I apologize. Now that all this is going on, I'm healing, Miss Marlene. I feel
Mm-hmm.
calmer. I feel like more at peace. I sleep a lot better. And I'm taking ownership of me. That little person, that little me that was very self-assured, and didn't take crap from anyone, as they say, someone that stood up for what she believed and to whoever, that person is coming back layer by layer by layer.
Yep,
But
you're
I
finding
needed to do
yourself.
this.
Yep,
But I
because
needed
you're.
to do this with him.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do it, Miss Marlene. I need to continue on because I feel that is healing me, that is bringing me back to the original me, because I didn't even recognize this me that became with that person. I was so young, Miss Marlene. I was what, 18 years old when I married
Oh,
him. And we were 20 plus years together. So that little person never developed from where it stood. And then I actually allowed him to push me down even more because I allowed that to happen. So that's why I was angry and I had all this hatred or resentment towards him, that I couldn't even be in the same room. But I knew I had to, and no problem, but I will keep all that anger to myself. Now I don't. As I'm working on me again, because I went back to therapy, I gotta bring all this up. I gotta hash it out with him, as they say, right? So that I can
mm-hmm.
heal properly, so that him and I can be in the same space, as friends, not as husband and wife or ex-husband and ex-wife. No, as friends that are parents to these wonderful kids and grandparents to wonderful grandchildren.
Exactly. Miss Nexie, I think one of the best things about releasing that anger is that, number one, getting your power back,
Hmm.
not being sad, knowing how to speak up. Like when someone does something, before, when someone would do something to me, I would shut down
Hmm.
and then I would go and self isolate, like remove myself from everybody else, and it would always be like, oh, there goes Marlene again, she got an attitude. But people
Mm.
don't realize that they're being rude, offensive, disrespectful, and that was my way of coping. And now that I have found me, my strength, my courage, and realize that I'm no longer a doormat, when things happen, I confront it right then and there,
Mhm.
instead of, how, like, because you'll always be living with regret. Oh man, I should have said something. And then you can't sleep that night. And then
Mhm.
this, and then that, and that, and it keeps building and building and building. So as things happen, I may not say everything, but at least now when something happens, I don't like that. Don't do
Mhm.
that.
Yep. Yep. Exactly, Miss
Mhm.
Marlene. You can voice it out now. It's not that you're mean or disrespectful. No, you're voicing your likes and dislikes. But when we don't work them out, I think that's when the problem is. And again, I cannot blame him only. You know what I mean? My
Mhm.
significant other, because I allowed it.
Yep.
Right? I could have easily said, "Hey, hey, 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 calm down, dude. What is wrong with you?" But I didn't, because I was being that role model wife that I thought I was supposed to be. What that did is that I stopped speaking. I stopped showing up for me, because I knew I was going to be shut down, or I knew I was going to upset that person. So I stopped showing up for me, and I just went along with everything. And again, I cannot blame him, which I was doing, because it's not his fault. I did that. He didn't. I was the one who didn't. say anything, didn't stop it. Stood in a relationship that was dead probably 5 years into our marriage. But I stood
Mhm.
here. I continue on for whatever reason, right? So the only person I can be mad at for let for leading me that way is me. And I had to forgive me too. And I had to talk to me in the same way I was talking to him. I did that with myself, Miss Marlene. I
Yeah.
talk to myself a lot. I will go off on myself. I will call myself certain names sometimes. And but that helped me get it all out and get my voice back. And it wasn't that I was afraid of him, because I wasn't. It was more like, let's keep the peace. Kids need a peaceful home. They need to be okay. They need to be in a, loving home, blah, blah, blah. So they can grow up securely and everything. So I would just let everything go by and, just go along with everything to keep the peace. But it wasn't peaceful for me. And that is what bottles up inside of you.
Exactly, exactly, Miss Nexie. And we could probably go on and on and on about everything more, but we are almost at the 2 hour mark.
Oh my lord, Miss Marlene. Well, this time we had to, because we missed last week,
Hmm.
so we're making it up today. But I feel, Miss Marlene, that the things that I know, that relationships are hard, right? We all been there, and it's hard sometimes because two different heads and two different ways of thinking, whatever. But I feel that a lot of times, the differences that can be resolved with talking to each other, to one another, with each other, whatever it is. For whatever reason, we opt not to. And I never understood that. Like, why didn't we sit down and talk about these things?
Well, Miss Nexie, I
Yeah.
will say for me, I knew the ones that I could talk to, and I knew the ones that it wouldn't be well received. And if I know it's not well received, I was like, I'm not going to even bother because it would just anger me more.
Mm. Yep. Yep.
Don't you think that that's a thing that we do, like, unknowingly? We do
Hmm.
that, like, because we already know. I'm not going to even bother to say anything because you know that they're not going to see you, respect you, or give you whatever it is that you need. So you're like, why even bother?
Yeah. And again, I go back to, why did we stay? Why did we stay? Why? And I have asked that question to myself. Excuse me. I have asked that question to myself a lot. We were so different in the way
Hmm.
we think, in the way we feel, and the way we love the people around us and ourselves. We were so different.
Hmm.
And why in the world will be with someone like that, that is so different
But
than
you know,
what I am?
but you know
I
what? Oh, go ahead,
uh-huh.
Miss Nexie.
No, 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 no. Go ahead, Miss Marlene. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna speak for myself. I know why I stayed in my toxic relationship. Because I was looking for what I needed inside of him instead of finding it inside of me.
That's a good way to put it.
Because
Yeah.
instead of finding friendship and love and support and my worth, I was looking for my relationship to feed that, to nourish that, to support that, to be the foundation of me. And instead of making my relationship be all encompassing, I was looking for that all in
Mm.
him instead of looking inside of myself. Like, I had no friendship with myself. I had
Yeah.
no love within myself. I had no goals. I had nothing that I would everything in my life was based on my romantic relationship or my family or my job. I was everything to everybody but me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sometimes think that that's what it is, that we didn't really um think about how we took care of us, because we were busy taking care of everybody else. Again, not showing up for you. But I also think, like, for me, Miss Marlene, staying there was also because, the kids, right? Oh my God, I have to stay. In your crazy head, you convince yourself that that's why. Because, I don't want them to be from one place to another. My aunt so and so did it too. She stayed because of them. And look at them now. They're good kids, right? My cousin, blah blah blah, even though her husband is I can, she did it, her kids are good kids. And so all of those things will go on, like, what am I doing here? Like, whenever I will ask that question, like, why am I here? Right, when something like
Mm-hmm.
that, I thought it was important to me, I wanted it validated by that person. It's like, okay, so how is that affecting me? And I'll be like, what am I doing here? But I then right away will say, sure, never mind that. The kids need you, blah, blah, blah. So I will put myself back into, okay, just forget it. Never mind. Do whatever you have to do. And hopefully he will get more interested in the next thing that you say, right? Or maybe next time, whatever you say, it's going to be okay with him or whatever. So a lot of times I think we put our kids as a shield or as an
Mm-hmm.
excuse
Your
to not
your
deal with it.
your kids or your family or your
Mhm.
job, something, and we put our
Or
life
your
on hold.
in-laws because you love them.
Yeah. We put everybody in front of us. And I think that is what gives us a lot of anger issues when you have sacrificed your life for everybody. And all you may be asking for is, can you say thank you? Can you tell me I appreciate your sacrifices? Can you do a kind deed for me? Every now and then throw me a bone to say, I see you or something. Like, I feel like it's not a lot that we may ask from our friends and relatives, but I stopped waiting for them to give it to me when they were ready, and I started to demand it. I need for
Mhm.
you to, if I do something for you, I need for you to tell me thank you.
Mhm.
Or I need, or whatever is the thing that you need in your
Oh,
love language.
yep, exactly. And um again, working on these topics is not so much for, because we're not therapists, right? We're not psychologists, we're nothing like that. But it's more like, to help somebody else not to forget who they are, where they come from, and not to forget that they have to show up for them in a relationship with family. And what I mean is, don't allow people to walk all over you. Don't allow people to say that your opinions, your feelings, whatever, don't matter. They're not important enough. They're not valid. Because if not, that anger inside, that sometimes disappointment in yourself, it's going to get deeper and it's going to get bigger, and people are not going to respect you until you make them, by voicing your concerns, your wants, your and demanding that they respect that. I think, because that's what
Mhm.
what I had to do, Miss Marlene. I had to go back there, and I had to bring me back, and it's taking me a very long time. It took
Mhm.
me almost 18 years to be able to sit down with that person and actually um say the things I had to say, and again, not because I was gonna cry, but because I'm like cool-headed now, clear-headed and cool
Mhm.
heart. But it takes a long time, but you have to do it, because regardless of what, sometimes, as you say, sometimes it can be too late. You will
Mhm.
not have that relationship if you want to work on it, save it. You may not have it if you wait for too long. And the same
Mhm.
relationship you can have for yourself. If you wait too long, you're never going to have that relationship that you should have, because you should be your own best friend.
Right. And I wanted to highlight something that I was saying in the chat. I think that for the first time in my life, when I stopped being angry, is because I stopped starving emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
I had to stop allowing other people to make me emotionally bankrupt. Like
Mm-hmm.
they would take everything from me. It was like you tired of the anger. I was tired of the sadness, the
Mm-hmm.
gaslighting, the manipulation, and I was like, I'm done with that. I got sick of that, and I had to start to cut those people off. Sometimes I literally have to block people.
Mm-hmm.
Other people, I just don't go around them. It's like the cutoff game had to be a real thing. And if you keep letting people do stuff, of course they're going to keep taking it, because if you allow it, people will keep using you until you cut them off. So that was something that I had to learn. In order for me to stop being angry, I had to set standards. I had to set boundaries. I had to know that I was worth it, and that the right people would show me that I was worth it. They wouldn't
Yeah.
play mind games. They wouldn't use me. They would support me. They would pour into me. And if you're around the wrong people, that's how you know, because if you feel drained, they're not the right people. You should feel supported. You should be smiling. You should get some benefit from being around them. But if you always feel like I have to always do for them, that's not a good relationship. Any form,
Ex-
friendship, anybody. It's not good.
exactly. Well
Not
said.
good.
Well said, Miss Marlene. Well, I think we're done.
Yes. Oh yeah. Overdone.
We can go for hours with this.
We could
But
go for hours and hours, right? Mm-hmm.
yeah, but again, taught what I had learned, and I practice, because like I said, I practice what I preach, right? Is that I have learned to, when something is bothering me, or something they say, something they do bothers me, I have learned to take care of it right away, Miss Marlene. I learned that I have to speak up now. Like, I don't like that. Can we please talk about it, because it make me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't shy away from that anymore. I don't dismiss it as, yeah, my son or my daughter, he was just angry today. They'll be fine tomorrow. No, I don't care who it is. If you hurt me, we are going to talk about it before it turns into anger. We need to deal with it now before it turns into, don't ever talk to me again. Or it turns into, for the next 20 years, I want nothing to do with you, right? So I have learned that, because it also brings me peace of mind that I'm talking about it now. Like, I'm not leaving it for next month. I'm doing it now. We got to talk about this now, because it's going to be the decision whether we stay as friends, or together as family, or whatever, or we just go our separate ways. Doesn't matter to me, but we need to talk about it to see if we can salvage whatever it is that we have as a family, right? So I don't wait 10, 20, 30, 15 years, whatever, to talk about it or to bring it up. I do it right then and there when
Right.
it's fresh.
And that's the healthy way, and that's how we need to handle things. And like we said, there will always be people that if you have something to say, they're going to shut down. They don't want to hear it. But the people that really care about you, they will be willing to have those conversations and want to fix the situation so that the relationship can continue. So we hope this was supportive to someone. And I know I feel like I got some therapy. I got some things off my chest. I feel
Yeah, me
happy and
too.
healed. Yeah.
Me too, Miss Marlene. I feel like I got a lot out of me. No,
Hmm.
again, we all make certain mistakes in our relationships, because it's a two-way street. It's not just them. But I feel that now that, it's over, it's a new chapter. As you grow, you learn to understand you better and understand what clicks on you and what doesn't. And I feel that that's why, as we learn healthy habits of how to deal with, romantic relationships, significant others, or family, children, extended, or whatever, we learn that we can talk to them on whatever is bothering us, whether it's to ask for forgiveness or to, you know, ask for their forgiveness for what they did to us. We need to do it. As you heal, that becomes easier and it becomes more kind of normal, like you're normal, that you can actually say, hey, this is bothering me. And it lightens your mood, it lightens your life because you're dealing with things there. You're not keeping them to build up, resentment and anger inside of you. You're just taking them now. So we hope that somebody, that if you are going through anything, that if we can help you in any way from our mistakes, right, Miss Marlene,
Hmm.
that you can take, if anything, take something from us, that will be wonderful for us. And don't forget to show up for you on everything. Every day you get up and show up for you first, and then you can extend your love and caring to everybody else, but you become your number one always.
Hmm. Yep. Well, we're going to stop putting ourselves last, stop disrespecting ourselves, and stop being the doormat.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you for
Thank
having me, Miss Marlene.
thank you so much, Miss Nexie, and shout out to everybody who came through today, those who were in the live, and also those who were in the bushes. Shout out to my bush babies. Hmm. And those on the replay. Thank you, everybody. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Pull up a chair, leave your worries at the door. Whatever's on your mind, you don't have to carry it no more. The steam is rising from the cup, the vibe is feeling right. We're diving deep into the soul, we're searching for the light. From the aches and the pains to the joys we finally find. It's the sip and chat, the healing of the mind. It's Marlene and Miss Nexie, side by side. No secret too heavy, nowhere left to hide. They're pouring out their hearts just to fill yours up again. A conversation started between two good friends. Whoa, this is the Sip and Chat, the weekly place to be, where we talk about the heart and we set the spirit free. Pour a little love, take a little sip. Life is a journey, the message is clear. Love is all you need, love is all, and you'll find it right here. Yeah. Matters of the heart, yeah, we're breaking down the walls. Learning how to stand up even after all the fall. Self-love is the lesson, self-care is the key. Becoming the person that you're meant to be. So watch the videos, enjoy the weekly flow. We're planting the seeds to help your garden grow. Turn those notifications on, don't miss a single drop of the wisdom. Because you deserve to feel better, you deserve to heal. Where we talk about the heart and we set the spirit free. Pour a little love. The message is clear. Love is all you need. Love is all, and you'll find it right here. Sip and chat. Sip and chat. Love yourself better. Love yourself better. Weekly podcast. Pouring out that making hearts whole.